Okay, hi everybody. So hold on one second. Okay, so I am checking in with you guys. Hold on one second. Having some technical challenges. Okay, I think that's good. So basically, um, I'm talking today about New Earth volunteers and what's going on, right? So if you're watching this, um, I would assume that you are a New Earth volunteer, and you know that you are because you know you're on a spiritual ascension journey. But I want to talk a little bit about what's going on and what's continuing to go on, and what is the absolute one thing that you need for your journey that I did not have. Um, so I'm just going to wait just a second and make sure that this is working. Okay. Yeah, looks good. All right, so your ascension journey. All right, if you haven't seen what's happening on the planet, um, I mean, then it's a little crazy, but so things are about to get 1,000 times worse. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. So, what is happening and why everyone is seeming like there's so much going on is because the old earth is dying. And that paradigm is one of us, or let me say it like this: me versus them. Okay. Um, and what does that entail? That entails fighting, right? So the ascension journey to the 5D is basically where you are coming into the awareness that there is no us versus them, right? But how you do that is you have to come to unconditionally love all of the dark side of yourself and the light side of yourself. Okay, so that can be a little confusing. So, what happens is when you start living in the light, um, that is when the darkness must start coming out of you. And how you will know if you are living in the light, which I believe the entire planet is now, um, is that things will start going to chaos in your life. Basically, people around you become triggered by your light, and the darkness that resides inside of you will be mirrored from those people to you. Sadly, it happens to be the people closest to you, and that can be very difficult to handle. But they are there to give you that mirror, and it can be very difficult to deal with these things. The last 8 years that I've been on this incredible journey with spirit has been about, it was very traumatic for me and very heartbreaking. And I just want to say, and that's why I titled this the absolute one thing that you will need on your journey, because I did not have this. And I know I literally can feel that an entire wave of volunteers um, will be living in the light. Whether you've been spiritual for years to come or not, this is a different experience. This is literally fast tracking you to release that darkness out of you. And, it's funny, you could think that you have already released everything, and it's like it has to be triggered from spirit out of you. So if you, yeah, you basically know. But what happens, like, so for myself, 8 years ago, when this started happening, I used to be able to manifest things very quickly. I would just s- decide that I wanted something, and I would just start taking steps to go after it. Um, and when my life kind of started to crumble, I was no longer able to manifest things quickly anymore. And I was like, I did not know what was happening. And then everything started falling apart. Well, I want you to know that if you know what's happening and you have support from someone who has been through this for the last 8 years, it's not the normal spiritual awakening. There's spiritual awakening all over, but this is a different animal. Okay. It's something that is almost beyond words. I can't even explain it. So, um, I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, I did not have support. And that is the number one thing that you must have when you start going through this. Um, so the light is very interesting, and that if you're very sensitive or empathetic, um, the light can almost feel like a manic episode where you will get these extreme energy highs. And I want to tell you, you're not crazy. You're not crazy at all. But it is the way that spirit is purging your subconscious. It's these hits of extreme light, and then you'll kind of go through these lower periods where you feel like you don't know what's happening. And it's really God delivering you from that darkness. And you'll know it because you'll feel like really, really bad. And then all of a sudden, you'll have the epiphany, and it's like the delivery, right? So it's just a crazy experience. Um, like, I can't explain it all because it's been 8 years of, well, I mean, I would consider it hell. So, okay. So let's go back for a minute, because you always have a choice. And the choice is whether you want to ascend or not. I personally don't even feel like it was a choice, because, I mean, you can sit in that 3D energy and it hurts so bad that you finally make the choice to just let go and and change. So it hurts so incredibly bad to be in this. And so I want, the reason why that it's called New Earth Volunteers is because you need to volunteer. We have free will. And so you need to be like, yes, I want to ascend to the fifth dimension. I want to be in the new earth. And this journey is one that is mind, body, and spirit. Um, and it is very, it's not easy, because, like I said, when when the darkness that lives inside of you, basically that darkness is what's kind of been sitting in your subconscious mind, and it needs to start coming out. So that can be trauma, it can be ancestral, generational patterns or negative patterns that you have, behavioral issues that don't align with your higher self. Um, I had to really go through um, a lot of codependent um, behavioral stuff, which I think a lot of us do. But also, we're talking about the conditioning from the 3D world that we live in and how we operate. And that conditioning can be very hard to break free from, because ultimately the goal is to start literally living from the internal heart space, where you no longer follow the outside world. Okay, so it's hard to explain. It's where there's a saying where that says that from, I can't remember where, if it's from the Bible or not, or people just say it, but it basically says where you are like in the world, but not of the world. So, like, you still operate in the world, but you operate at a higher frequency than others, and that really can trigger some severe reactions if you're still around those people. And so, this journey is about understanding that, and you have to walk away from these people that you're or triggered by or whatever. But you have to understand the lesson that comes from that. And really, all it is you can just watch what they do, their behavior, and know that whatever they do is actually a part of you, right? I know. Okay, this is trippy. So you have to accept and love that dark part of you that, trust me, you will want to fight, you'll want to run, you'll want to, like, your survival mode gets completely triggered. But if you have the support of someone who's been through this, and before you react to these things, you can kind of get that feedback, then, and the support that you need, then it will be a lot easier, because if you can just sit back and observe these people and how they're being triggered and how they're reacting, and you have to understand that that is a dark part of your own soul that's literally coming out. um, you have to accept and love that part of you, and that's a very hard thing to accept, because trust me when I say that they come at you very hard from all angles, and you have to accept and love that part. And it's not like you're you don't need to be okay with their behavior. You definitely can walk away from that and set boundaries, but for you to absorb and understand what actually went on, like, I journaled everything, and then you can see what you didn't like about that, what happened, and that is where you have to start accepting this in. So it's a very long journey um, of purging, I would say. Okay, so it is purging, and what we're going to see is humans purging and the earth also purging. So when you see these extreme events happening, um, it's the same thing. Um, it's humans purging and the earth purging these old 3D energies. Okay. So, the one thing that is the most important thing that I didn't have is support from someone who could understand what I was going through and what I could just hear me, could just listen, and could kind of guide me in a way that was not as traumatic or as difficult as I took it because, um, you know, that's just how it went down for me. But um, what I will say is I have created like a support group, and it is very beginning stages because when I think back from the last 8 years of what I really needed that I didn't have, it was that. And of course, I had spirit, but I did not understand that I was going from a place of literally living and following everything outside of myself to having to come to unconditional love in my heart, mind, and soul, and then live from this heart space and follow what my Lord that lives in me tells me. That can be very difficult to comprehend when we're used to living the way that society tells us, our parents have told us, our, you know, all the traumatic things that our behaviors have told us we need to do. Um, it can be a very difficult thing to handle. But what I want to tell you, and I want to encourage you, is that the reward on the other end of this journey is by far worth every second of pain, discomfort, trauma that you could ever imagine. If you really choose to go into this 5D, which you will kind of have to, otherwise it will just get very bad and you don't want to be in that space. So, um, you'll kind of have to move into this realm, but this is why I'm saying support from someone who has gone through this can really help to, I wouldn't say speed up your process because like spirit has to work through the levels of your mind so that you can accept these energies in slowly, right? Because spirit is very gentle and we don't want to go crazy. So, yeah, sometimes it will feel like you are going crazy. And trust me, you are not. You are very sane. Everything that is happening on this planet right now is meant to guide us back to the true living God that resides within us and understanding that we all hold that divinity within us and then respecting everyone else and understanding they hold that same divinity. So the reward on the other side of this incredible journey is that you will be able to manifest without there's like no time. It is like very fast. So literally you can say, I want this. And it's not even a matter of saying, I want it. It's knowing that it's like you already have it and it unfolds in a quicker time than you could ever imagine. That is the reward on the other end of this. And that is because you're living from that God heart center that lives in all of us. And that doesn't mean we're perfect. Oh, no, no. Trust me. We get to be fun and crazy and wild and free. And we get to have all of our emotions. You know, you don't disappear off. Well, I will say, based on frequency, you can no longer like you don't resonate with. people that are on different frequencies. And that's where a lot of the triggering can come. So like, um, but like I have 3 kids. They're all with me. I have a husband. He's with me. And we still go back and forth with some triggering things that I'm learning from, and it's helping me to boost my confidence. But yeah, so you just have to choose who you want to continue that journey with, if it's possible. Anyway, so that's what I am beginning to offer. I have been like kind of in seclusion for a long time. Yeah, kind of like a really long time. That's because I was, 8 years pretty much of seclusion. Okay. Um, no, but basically, I let God go work through me through this journey. And it's super crazy, but I know that this is something that can be of huge value to anyone that is beginning to live in the light and is realizing that, oh my God, what's happening to my life? It is completely disintegrating and I need help. I mean, that's where I was, and I had a few spiritual and mental emergencies because I didn't know what was happening. Luckily, you know, God literally protects you during this time, but you can still have some, trauma. Lots of it. So, yeah, the and the good news is that everyone's like their light is being activated, whether they realize it or not, and that is the light of divinity within themselves. And that's why there's so much going on, where there's so much like us versus them, this fighting, like the United States versus the world, Democrats versus Republicans, Trump versus Biden, like really like God versus the devil. I mean, you guys, but really, the truth of it is there is no enemy. That's a trippy thing, but there is no enemy. Even though you may feel like there is, there's not. They're all pieces of you that as you go through this, you have to accept and understand and find that compassion for the other side. I like to look at the spectrum of vibration uh, as two jokers on the other end. They gave this to me in the very beginning. Two jokers, right? So you have like the ultimate bliss frequency, higher dimensional frequencies, and then you literally have like hell, right? Which is the lowest of fear, death, right? Life and death, right? You have the polarities. And I mean, you could look at it as God and the devil, you can look at it as two jokers, but really ultimately they are just counterparts of each other. And the scary thing is that like I had a lot of religious conditioning, and so you have to learn to accept and love and understand that the devil is a counterpart to God. So I know that sounds crazy, but if you think of it as energy and frequency, that's why I'm saying I had a hard time because I had a lot of religious conditioning. Um, but if you think of it in terms of vibration, then it's not scary anymore. And you can understand that spectrum. But you can't just have this side of the spectrum for unconditional love, which is fifth dimensional, right? You have to have this other side of the spectrum that you accept and understand and love. And so the only way to know that is to experience those energies, to alchemize and transmute them into the beautiful light that's in your heart that can finally be free, because you no longer have to wear a mask for the world, which I know I was. Um, I was absolutely putting on these masks to hide my spiritual gifts, to hide my um, just my light, you know, from the world, because it had been so hurt and traumatized and pained. And so I think everyone is kind of in that boat. But I will tell you that um, the best thing about it is that you know that you are a humanitarian. You know that you are healing the world. And because you've healed yourself, you've completely come into union with your dark side, your light side, your mind, your body, your spirit, your subconscious, your unconscious, your conscious mind. And so, yeah, it's really remarkable. But like I said, we're multi-dimensional beings and we go up and down, but this is a different thing. It's this purging of what is hidden within us. Okay, so I invite you to join the New Earth 5D Ascension Support Group with me. I'm just starting it, so I don't, it's not a big thing, right? It's just a few people who really feel that they're on this journey and who can come together and support each other. Um, and so, anyway, I will leave the link down below. It is like a paid membership. It is not very much. I'm making it very affordable. And I am doing a 1 week trial for free. So I haven't really decided, but I definitely know that I'll do like a weekly Zoom call. And I will be putting a lot of different tools that I learned in there that will seriously assist you on your journey. I will probably do just whatever spirit leads me to. Maybe energy healings, maybe some tarot readings, um, and maybe some channeling. Um, I do channel Orion, the Council of Light, and I get some pretty intense messages there. But I want to be that which I didn't have. And so it's a game changer to be able to um, ascend to the fifth dimension quicker, faster, easier, lighter. So also, I just want you to know that you can absolutely do this. If I can do it, then you can do it. It is just that support to know, like, if you're having a spiritual, thing going on, or you're questioning, I mean, just all of it. It's just nice to have that support to say, I hear you, you're doing okay. Like, go within, listen to your heart, and you'll be fine. But that is a huge piece of it. Okay, sorry, this light keeps going off. So, um, yeah, I don't really think that I have too much else other than, you'll start to see things getting more crazy. And I will just keep talking about this and keep um, mentioning the support group. So if anyone needs it, it's there. But yeah, I feel it's very exciting time. I know people say that. Um, but yeah, for me, it hasn't been exciting. I feel like it's getting exciting for me now. So that's good. Um, so yeah, I'm just really excited to start sharing my knowledge that I learned throughout the whole time. And I think that Spirit really gave me that to be able to share my experiences. Um, the best way that I can tell you is by sharing like my stories, because it's very difficult to understand when you're talking in terms of, these spiritual jargon terms, and they are real, but they're hard to like integrate the lessons. Like, and when I tell stories, it's so strange, but like when you're going through something similar, it'll just kind of recall in the memory. It'll recall to where you're like, oh my gosh, I understand now. It's kind of like how I always read the Bible, and like I always prayed to Spirit, show me what this means, explain what this means. And like I would just have an experience and I would know what that certain passage meant. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how God really works through me. Um, so I'll just keep telling my stories. Anyway, try, guard your heart, guard your heart, guard your heart, guard your heart. I'm going to say that because if you let in any of these energies, like the darkness will come back into your heart if you take it in there as if you take it personal, right? Instead of being the observer and witnessing what's going on and then taking that lesson, accepting what happened, and literally most of the time it is moving away from that energy, moving on from that person, moving out of that house, moving out of that job. Then you take that into your heart as pain, and from your heart springs the issues of life. You will manifest things from the heart so fast. um, and so you've got to release that. Don't even take it in. Guard your heart. Guard your heart. Oh my gosh, I could say it a million more times because that's such an important message for right now. Is there's a lot of darkness going on out there, and there's nothing wrong with it. We need to accept it. We need to acknowledge it. It is parts of us. That's when they say, like, you come to understand that you are one with everything. It's because whatever is going on outside of you is part of something that maybe you'd hidden, that you're not comfortable with, that you don't like, but it's still a part of you, if that makes sense. It is a part of you, and so you have to understand that. And then once you can like accept it and love that, then you're able to move away from these energies instead of it continuing to happen over and over and over again. So I hope you have a wonderful night. I will do these as much as I can, and just be there for you. So, as support. But it is very exciting because the light of the earth has come. It is here. It is shining bright in the world. It's just so triggering. It's so triggering because it is dissolving that third dimensional paradigm and the fourth dimensional paradigm, which is tricky to comprehend, but it's where you can choose your timelines very quickly. You can choose to jump timelines extremely fast, knowing that there is really no time, but there is. All right, so meet me in the support group. Thank you so much. Because obviously, as I'm able to share and give support, you support me, and that is a win win for all of us and what we all need to be actually moving towards. Um, if you, one of the things my husband and I talk about is like how you go to Target. He went to Target the other day and he bought 5 things. And I saw this on TikTok too, and it's no joke. 5 things, and I think it was $52 with the tax and everything. And there was a video on TikTok, and he broke it down, and he said, if you make like 13.50, which is like the national, minimum wage average, um, then you would have to work an entire day just to buy those 5 items. And so what's happening is that so many people are recognizing that it's just not sustainable to live at all on that 9 to 5. And that's okay, right? So we have to find other ways. And the way that we all will begin to work is that just that we have to go within, find the treasure of the light within us, start sharing that out into the world, and then you will receive back. It's like you share your gifts, your knowledge, your value out to the world, and you receive all of that back. So it's a good deal. And that's how it works. And when we start to live in these universal laws, um, because the universe has to abide by them, it is, we no longer are in this deep sadness. We are all fulfilled. We're all full of love, money, happiness, joy, freedom. Um, and we give our gifts, we give our value, our light, we shine it, and we get more than we could ever wish for in return. So that's how the structure is, that's what it's coming to. So have a great night or day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.